Okay, so I'm going to do a screen capture video on my iPad showing you how to use ArcGIS Collector. I'm using the iPad because the screen is quite large and it should be easier for you to see. But if you're using this on an iPhone or an Android phone, it's basically going to be the same thing, just with a smaller screen. On the Arc Collector icon is this one in the lower right of the taskbar at the bottom of my screen. It's blue. It looks like a white clipboard with an arrow coming in from the left-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and open up Collector for ArcGIS. And this is what the splash screen looks like for that. This should work just fine for you if you have an iPhone or an Android phone and you're commonly using Google Maps or directions or any kind of find restaurants near me. That means you have a GPS on your phone, and that'll work great for Collector. If you don't have that, if you have, say, an iPod Touch or perhaps an Android tablet without a GPS, Collector can still work. We'll just talk through a slightly different way of locating yourself in the field when we get to the outdoor stage of this screen recording. But right now, I'm just going to show you guys how to find the map and how to download a base map so you can use it when you go outside to collect data. And we're going to start just like we do with ArcGIS Online in the computer lab. We're going to sign in using ArcGIS Enterprise with Michigan server. So I'm going to click the Sign in with ArcGIS Enterprise option. And you can see that I have signed in before. And the URL we want to use is umich.maps.arcgis.com. Now, if you haven't signed in before on your iPhone, then you just simply click Specify a new URL. And in this box here, you enter that URL I just showed you, umich.maps.arcgis.com. So I've put that one in. I'm just clicking on that URL now to log in. And I have logged in recently, so it just automatically logged me through. But if it's your first time, it'll ask for your unique name, then it'll ask for your password with the typical Michigan shibboleth login, and then you'll usually be asked to authenticate with Duo. Okay, so this is what you'll see. Now, this is me personally, and these are all the maps I use all over the world. You probably will not see this many maps. If you do have maps on here from other classes, you'll see them. If this is the only time you've ever used ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS for Collector, you may only see the map associated with this class. Before we go and find the map and work with it, however, we want to change a couple settings to make this as easy as possible. So we're going to tap the little person in the upper left-hand corner, and the key thing we're going to change is photo size. This will let you take photos. Arc Collector will let you take photos and then upload them to the cloud. The bigger the photos, the longer that takes, the harder it is to do. So the default size here is going to be large when you first open up ArcGIS. I encourage you to set it to medium or even small. For this exercise, it's not really critical that I or the GSIs can identify what's in the photo with any great degree of specificity. We're more interested in seeing that you are able just to take a photo, attach it, and upload it. So keep it as small as possible. I'm going to stick with medium for now because I know I have good cell and Wi-Fi coverage here in Ann Arbor. If you're concerned about it, go ahead and use small photos. It's really no problem. Okay, so we are done with that. The next thing we want to do is look for the map for this class. And it turns out it's right here at the bottom left of my list of maps, Earth 408, Arc Collector Winter 2020. That's going to be the map that you're going to want to use for this exercise. But one of the first things we want to do is we want to download what we call a base map onto the iPad so that when you go outside, you're not streaming data, you're not dependent on a wireless connection in order for ArcGIS Collector to work. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to tap the three buttons to the right-hand side of the map name here, and we're going to choose the option Add Offline Area. And this window is going to open up. And there's two parts of this window. One is the main map, which you can zoom in or zoom out on by pinching in and out. The other thing you'll see is a rectangle. And the rectangle is associated with how high resolution data you would like to download to the iPad. So what you see down here in the lower portion of this window, it says level of detail is room. That's the highest resolution data you can get. It means that, in theory, you could see rooms inside an individual house, and you can see that you can only download a little tiny amount of data. All you can download at that level of detail is what's inside that little box on the map. Now I'm going to show you the opposite. I'm going to jump up to, say, city level detail, okay, and I'm going to pinch to zoom this out. And what you can see is that at city level detail, I'd be allowed to download much of the upper Midwest. Okay, so as I change the level of detail, I'm going to go from city down to street. I can get a smaller and smaller area that I'm allowed to download. So what you want to be able to do in this case is kind of identify where you are on the map. So street level is probably a reasonable level of detail. You don't need building level. If you go to city level, you're probably going to have a bit of a challenge. So if I downloaded now, all I would get is what's inside that little box there. That's the most amount of data I could get. But I can zoom in and I can also move the map. So I'm in Ann Arbor currently, but you can do this wherever you are. Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, Chicago, California, it doesn't matter. Just center the map on your location. And so as I'm zooming like this, if I stopped and right now, if I click download, I would download everything inside of that rectangle. Now, I'm just going to collect some data for an example in the city of Ann Arbor, so I don't even need that much data. I'm going to keep zooming in. And now, once that rectangle has disappeared off my screen, what I will get when I download is what is currently shown on the screen itself. I'm going to keep going because I'm just going to stick right inside Ann Arbor. And so I'm going to get about this much of Ann Arbor. So I'll kind of stay within the freeways. So the smaller the area, the faster the download. The lower the detail, the faster the download. And so I'm going to pick this area here. I'm going to go ahead and click download area. And you're going to get this screen that shows you're downloading the area. And it shows on the upper right here a progress bar, how fast that data is coming. Depending on how much data you choose to get, depending on the speed of your connection, this could take anywhere from a minute up to about 5 minutes. I'm hoping it's going to go fairly quickly here for our purposes in our example, because then I want to show you how to save the name of this download so you remember where it is. And then we'll take a pause and actually go outside and look at the device outside and how we collect data points. So we're about a third of the way there. It seems to be moving along at a modestly okay rate. Hopefully another few seconds, and that whole area will be downloaded and saved on my iPad. All right. I feel awkward humming the Jeopardy theme into my earbuds, so I will not do that at the moment. Here we go, coming around the corner. And we are, I think, almost there. Once it's done, obviously that wheel will go away. It'll be replaced by 3 little dots, and the word downloading underneath the Area 5 will also disappear. Okay, so finishing up here with the download, and you see I downloaded 51 megabytes of data, street level data for all of Ann Arbor, and it took finished up about a minute ago. Okay, so I'm going to tap these 3 little dots here within the white box that contains the word Area 5, and one of my options is going to be rename area. Obviously, Area 5 is not a particularly useful name for this, so I'm going to call this Ann Arbor Streets, so that I remember that this is Ann Arbor and it's street level data. Okay, so that's updated now. It's on the device, and so I can use these maps outside without needing any internet connection, any Wi-Fi connection. So I'm going to pause the recording here, and I'm going to pick up again outside with the map open, and I'll show you guys how we proceed from there.